The first part of this is the story about the death of the extreme sky surfer. I took it to a field elsewhere and got in trouble for trying to fly it, so I've quit flying there and I'm flying at Tom Brown's property, which you all know where Tom's Brown property is. And I'm having to try to learn on my own. So this was the second flight, or actually the third flight of the Extreme Surfer, and it ended up being just tore all to pieces. Which I think I learned my lesson. In real aircraft, if you start to stall, you drop the nose and apply full throttle. In light airplanes anyway, it's just built into you, drilled into you, just second nature. You don't even think about it. When it happens, you just do it. Unless you're in an uncoordinated stall and flipping over on your back, then you actually pull the throttle all the way out and pull the carburetor heat all the way out and wait for it to come under and then pull up and out and then add throttle. But that's a whole different kind of a stall. That's one where you actually, at the break of the stall, the airplane flips 180 and goes upside down, which I like to do and got grounded for doing on solo during my flight training in Memphis. But anyway, that's a whole nother story too. Anyway, this was the Extreme Surfer, and like I say, I'm teaching myself to fly these so I can fly my Bixler with the full $3,000 or so of computerized autopilot, etc. So this flight, I had the same problem as my other two at a field south of here, and my problem is I need to stay off the throttle. I'm pretty sure. Need to set a mid throttle. I only need to touch the throttle if the craft's going too fast and it's causing the wings to kind of vibrate up and down, which if you fly one of these foam airplanes too fast, that'll happen. This particular model has a bad problem with what's called oscillating stalls because the wings are so big and they flex and cause it to jump up in the air. But my problem with this one was every time the nose would drop or I would need altitude, I would go to full throttle. Anyway, the flight doesn't last very long and you can see what happens. So I'm about ready to take another one to Tom Brown's. I don't have any other way to learn to fly except buy them and crash them. I'm not going to go back to a place south of here. It's actually an AMA field. If you're running drones and stuff, do not join the AMA. Do not go to an AMA sanctioned field. They have no idea about these autopilots. They have no idea about drones. I got in trouble for actually following procedures as dictated in the checklist on a test of a RC receiver failure. They kind of called me out in front of the whole group without even contacting me to see what was going on. I didn't get a chance to defend myself, so, I can't really go back there. So, watch as the Extreme Surfer is destroyed, and then I'll show you what I'm building up to try to get my fully autopiloted Bixler flying in the air. I've just got to learn to stay off the throttle, set a mid throttle, fly it with the rudder, the elevator, and the ailerons, perhaps the flaps. And if the wings seem to be vibrating too much up and down from too much speed, then you might want to reduce the throttle. Of course, some of the first things I'll do after I get complete control and fly through a few full batteries is I will be doing stalls at high altitude so I can find out when the platform stalls. And I will be adding a little throttle to pull out of those stalls. And then I will be doing stalls with partial flaps and then full flaps so I can know what the platform will do and how to get out of a partial flap, 20% flap, or full flap stall. That's just for landing stalls is all that's for. Anyway, watch as the Extreme Sky Surfer is destroyed.
Right rudder, left rudder, motor, right aileron, left aileron, up, down, flaps, full flaps, partial flaps, flaps up. Okay, sort of hate this, but for 120 bucks, what do? That's what I did last time. Didn't do that the last time. That's probably it for the day. Gotta stay off that throttle. Yeah, and a real airplane throttle doesn't do that. I should have had it higher. Yep. Bad day. Yep. Luckily, you can buy parts on the individual hooks. I don't think that's too damaged. You got the fish lights, I got the wings. That was short. Getting any cows yet? No. Give me that back. Yeah. You just ordered a new fuselage? Yep. Yeah, crashing straight nose down like that's not gonna be very good, is it? I didn't even get 40 miles away.
You did not get 40 miles away.
Good stout gate.
You just gotta watch your wet shoes on steel.
Well, they're fitting the car easier now. You got spare parts for the next one. Ah!
Probably glue this back together and make it work.
Yeah, that'd be. It would be pretty weak in those areas.
I'll just go ahead and fold it in half for you.
Hey, look, Ma. It'll fit in the truck now.
Where's Pam at?
Nebraska.
Oh, that's right. When's she coming back?
Next Friday, I believe.
Next Friday?
Not sure. Let's move it over here off the flame wheel. Let's try to save it. Tail and rudder. Do what?
You're gonna need new wings.
How's that?
The stabilizer broke off of this one.
I already glued it on once.
Okay. Well, your aileron and everything's broke off of that.
The rod just came loose.
See that?
Still fly.
So wasn't that fun, short and sweet? So I scrapped that one and building me up another Bixler that matches my fully tricked out one. And I'm going to try to learn to fly the straight up version of the Bixler without any kind of autopilots, GPSs, cameras, transmitters, all that junk until these only cost $79 out of the box complete. All you have to do is add a RC receiver and a battery to them. So I can keep paying $80 one after another after another after another till I learn to fly myself. Because again, if you're into drones, if you're into autopiloted airplanes, the people at the AMA and local AMA fields just really aren't going to be very friendly to you. I found out. I'll be glad to help anybody I can. So, oh, and if you ever want to hear any of the horror stories, boy, I got them all documented in print and in video too. So here is the fully tricked out, fully automated Bixler 2 with autopilot, pan and tilt, camera, long range video. You have to have a ham license for long range telemetry, long range RC receiver that you have to have a ham license for. Several $1,000s sitting right there added to the $79 frame. So because my attempts to get flight instruction other places around here didn't really work out that well, and I'm having to learn on my own before I throw this expensive one in the air, I decided to just keep buying the little $79 almost ready to fly version. I have to build it, and I have to add a RC receiver and battery to it. That's it. The rest of it comes completely put together, glued together. I have been painting them for a color scheme, as you can see, so that I can tell what orientation they're in when I'm flying them. And when I can fly the stock version of this, I would take this one and throw it into the air, and the only difference should be the weight difference of the equipment, and I should be much more capable of flying this one without crashing it ever. Hopefully I'll never crash this one. But here's the new one I'm putting together. I actually just finished painting it last night. I've got to do some touch-up painting around the hinges where I had masking tape on it to keep the paint from getting in the hinges. I'll do that after I put it together, but now it's ready to be glued together. And then I will put a RC receiver in this one and a battery, and we'll go out in the field and throw this one in the air. See if I can keep my hand off the ding-dang throttle. Take it up high and hopefully fly it around until the battery starts running out, and glide it into a normal landing using, I might even just get it up high and shut the motor off and glide it around and see how I do with that, and keep doing that until I can fly this stock version, and then I'll throw the expensive one in the air and hopefully be fine. Then I can start using the autopilot and playing with the autopilot features, mapping, return to launch, all the 16 different modes that this particular autopilot will do. I have painted it with a paint scheme that I kind of like. It'll let me know how it's oriented. The old eyes don't work too good. So I know on the tail's completely orange. The tips of the wings are international orange, and then I've got kind of a arrow type configuration near the fuselage on the wings that on the top is orange, and also have the canopy area in front of where the camera would go blacked out on this one already, just to play with that paint scheme. I haven't painted the other one like that yet, but I will, so that keeps the light from reflecting off the front of the aircraft and messing with the camera. But anyway, on the bottom of the wings, I painted that same arrow type pattern, the two triangles you see, black. So when it's flying right side up, I'm looking up at it, I should see orange tail, pretty prominent, orange tips on the wing, and a black arrow pointing forward. I may paint part of the lower fuselage black too, so it just looks like a black arrow between the tail and the wing. I don't know. I've been thinking about that one. This may do fine. The other one's actually green paint on top, and might be green on the bottom too. I forget if I changed. I think it's just the same color. Yeah, it's green on the top and the bottom where the arrow would be. This one, if I see the arrow on the wings is orange, I know I'm looking at the top of it. And if I see that they're black, I know I'm looking at the bottom of it. Orientation of these aircraft, because of so many hundreds of hours flying the quads and hexes and stuff, pretty much knowing to move the roll stick in the opposite direction when it's coming at me, it's just pretty much got an old hat. You get 200-300 hours flying, then orientation of it flying away from you or flying towards you isn't that bad. But it never hurts to paint them up and try to help with that. So that's the way I've painted this one up. Over the next few cold days, I will glue the tail on. The wings actually go on, and there's a spar goes through the center, and then it's fixed on with a single screw so it can be disassembled for transport. But glue on the tail to the fuselage, do a little touch-up paint with a little small paintbrush around the hinges on the elevator and rudder, and I'll be ready to go throw this in the air. Hopefully, if I can keep my hand off the throttle, give it enough throttle to fly and fly with the rudder, elevators, and ailerons. If I can just keep my hand off the throttle, I think I'm going to get this pretty soon by myself. Elsewise, I break this one, I'll go buy another one for $79. Might get to where I don't even paint them if I keep having to buy one after another, after another, after another. Don't know what else to do. Thought I was going to get some help from a local AMA field, but they're just really hostile towards new members around here. I recommend there's a local drone club. I'll try to find a link to that and give you that if you want that. More modern clubs are starting to form that are based around drones and based around aircraft. One thing, in the manuals, if you talk about adjusting PIDs on a quad, it actually tells you to hold the quad in your hand and run up the motors and then rock it back and forth to see how the gyros are trying to hold the platform level. Why, an AMA certified field would just jump all over you for holding a running quad in your hand to do what is written in the manuals to figure out the proportional part of your PIDs. It's just absolutely insane. But that's for a different time. You want to know about all those horror stories, you call me, email me, and I'll send you the videos and or the PDF files and the emails back and forth for those. Yeah, it's crazy. All right. Let's epoxy this tail on and then wait for a windless day and go see if we can learn to fly this without any extra equipment, and then we'll throw that slightly heavy, fully automated one in the air and start doing some really fun stuff. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.